live stream is because something incredible has happened in Victoria, in Melbourne, and I think we really need to talk about it, and that's why I thought we should all gather as a people and collectively say, what the fuck? But first, before we jump into that, ladies and gentlemen, two things. The number one important thing is that holy shit, the merch drop happened on Tuesday it was. We had the Good Motherfucker Club jump in on it on Monday, and you can see down in the description below how to join that for the next drop. And they sold out the Moist t-shirts. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And then come Tuesday, the merch drop happened, and it has just been absolutely crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how really to stress how much I love you all, you beautiful bloody people. But what I would also like to say, and the second most important thing that I need to bring up in this stream is The Rock's got coronavirus. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, The Rock, the great one, the people's champ, he's got the Rona. He's come down with a case of the flu, and this granite man that we know and we love from movies like Jumanji and the worst graphics of all time from the Scorpion King, that motherfucker has the Rona. So basically the gist of what I am saying is we are all completely fucked. If the Rona gets The Rock, you're fucked, mate. Yeah, you. Fucking you. You're fucked. That's not apple juice, kids. This is a real man. So, the reason I made this video is what happened in Victoria. Now, for those of you who don't know what's happening in the great state of Victoria right now, they are under stage 4 lockdowns. And what that means is basically you cannot leave the house. You can leave the house if you go and work in a certain location, I think. I'm not quite sure on that. But if you don't have to go to work, if you're not a necessary worker, then basically you don't get to leave the house. You get to go for 1 hour for exercise, and only one person from your household can go and get the groceries. So I don't know what that means for booty calls and for people on Tinder, but basically no one in Victoria is fucking, which is a very sad state of affairs. Now, Stage 4, that's stage 4. I don't know what happens in stage 5. Maybe Dan Andrews turns up at your house and sends you to your room. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's what's going to happen. Now, people are talking about Dan Andrews as the communist leader and he's carrying on like he's from China. I don't know if that is completely true, but what I do know about Dan Andrews is he's laying down the law, and that's what happened here. Ladies and gentlemen, a pregnant woman was arrested this week in Melbourne, only yesterday or maybe the day before, I'm not quite sure, but it was very, very recently, and she was arrested because she was inciting inciting against public health orders. She was trying to encourage a protest in Victoria and against the lockdown of the coronavirus, and what happened next was quite full on. There's a lot of people, depending on where you are on the argument of politics, a lot of people are dead against it, and a lot of people are so happy that this happened, and that's quite strange to me. But I've got the video here, and I've learned how to use the live streaming video software, I think, and let's have a look at what happened.
Yeah, you can show me your search warrant before you go through my house.
So this is the police in the house. They're undercover, not undercover officers, but plainclothes officers.
Yeah, I own this house.
That's the gentleman that owns the house with the kid.
Search warrant for what?
They break out the search
I'll
warrant.
explain to
You
you.
can pause that, I guess, and have a look at it if you want. I don't have the capabilities of doing that.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right. Now, you're under arrest in relation to incitement.
Incitement?
What's that? Now, you're not obliged to say or do anything, but anything you say or do may be given evidence.
Excuse me, incitement for what? What on earth? Excuse me,
Now, this is where it gets weird. They pull out
earth?
handcuffs. She's in a house.
You,
I
like,
don't quite understand that.
What's this?
Ultrasound in an hour.
Yeah,
She's
she's
pregnant, by the way. I
pregnant,
know that really
so
changes anything, but still.
What's this about?
A pregnant lady in handcuffs. I think that's quite obvious.
Let me finish and I'll explain. It's in relation to a Facebook post, in relation to a lockdown protest you put on for Saturday.
Yeah, and I wasn't breaking.
So she's
any
getting arrested
laws
because
by
she
doing
You are
posted a
actually-
thing on
you are
Facebook
breaking the law.
about
That's why I'm
organising a
arresting
protest.
In front
How
of
can
my
you arrest
children,
her?
In
That's-
front of my 2 children.
Can't you just say to her, take the post down? Like, come
I'm
on.
happy to
Not
delete
obliged.
the
That's
post.
fair.
This is
That's
ridiculous.
right.
Yeah.
But I have to give you these caution rights. You understand?
Yeah, that's
You're
fine.
not-
Like, I'm
not
happy to
obliged to
delete
say
the
do
post. This is
anything.
ridiculous.
Your
Like,
job
I'm
is to
saying,
delete
I
the
went
post.
Maybe
fine.
giving evidence. You understand that?
Yeah, that's fine. But my 2 kids are here. I have an ultrasound in an hour. Like, I'm happy to delete.
Okay, so she gets arrested. Now, I understand that currently in that part of the world, you are not allowed to go out into public and have these protests. Now, originally my thought was, well, hang on. There were Black Lives Matter protests just a couple of weeks ago, but it appears that perhaps they weren't in the same regulations and restrictions as what she had planned. Now, I am not going to go out there and say that if she was a Black Lives Matter protester, then the protest, this wouldn't have happened. She wouldn't have been arrested. I don't want to say that, even though it's probably true. But what I would like to say is that this is somewhat scary because she has decided to have a protest. Now, the people who would attend this protest are people who, they don't believe in the coronavirus. And we all know those type of people. I believe that it is real. I have my own personal opinions about it, but also, not a doctor, don't know shit. I can't even keep my own fucking hair, ladies and gentlemen. Some people think the whole thing's overblown. In fact, this week the CDC released figures that something like 9% of the 156,000 people that have died in America, only 9% were actual corona deaths. The other 91% all had comorbidities, meaning that they had other things wrong with them, like old age, I think diabetes is another one, people who are overweight, also people with heart conditions, which is something quite close to my family. My father's got a heart condition, it runs in the family, so something like coronavirus does is quite fear, it strikes fear into the heart of people who do have those family members who are at risk. And I mean, we all have, if we are lucky enough, we all still have grandparents on this earth, and I do, and I worry for them. I've got, on my father's side, my grandparents are in their 80s. My mother's side, they're about 10 years younger, but they still are at a great risk. So these are the people who are saying to themselves, okay, maybe the coronavirus isn't as big of a deal as everyone's made it out to be. And the reason they're saying that is because a lot of them have lost their jobs. And now, I know that people might think, okay, well, who gives a fuck about jobs at the moment? This is about life. Well, you can't live your life. You can't feed your kids. You can't look after your family if you don't have a job in 6 months. If it has disappeared or it's disappeared now and you can't pay your bills. I understand why people want to go to these protests. Personally, I would not go. I don't want to be around all those people. Although in saying that, I went to the footy last week. So who the fuck cares what I think? So, she has been arrested. Now, would this have happened if she wasn't a white lady? Probably not, but let's not, we don't know. We don't know these things, ladies and gentlemen, so let's not just throw conjecture in the air. And there are new laws now. You can't do this type of shit. And that is a concern for me for a number of reasons. Probably one of the number one reasons that is a great concern of mine is how long does this go for? How long do these lockdowns go for? Because they're already talking about extending the Melbourne lockdown for another 6 months. Does that mean if they do it for another year, another 2 years, another 3 years? What if the vaccine doesn't work? I know I'm talking hyperbolically, but this is all, this could happen. Maybe not even from the coronavirus, maybe something worse. Let's say if SARS or H1N1 returned and really affected people and had higher death rates. These are all things that could happen. What happens if it's locked down for 2 years? Is it still illegal? Will you still be locked up because you are going out of your way to have a protest and telling the government that is enough? Does that give them the power in another circumstance? What if we were invaded? All these different ideas. And I know a lot of them are ridiculous, and you probably think to yourself, that's never going to happen. And the truth of the matter is it probably won't. But I think we need to still have the ability to protest if we need to. When the Spanish flu broke out in the early 19th century after the First World War, there came a moment where people started not caring about it. The deaths started to drop. More people had it, but the people stopped dying from it. And people just started to go, oh, fuck it, let's just get on with our lives because we have to. They didn't have government packages coming in where they were getting paid. And a lot of the viewers of this video right now, maybe you're not getting paid from your government if you're overseas. The Australian government's paying people, I think it's something like $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month. I think it's, $3,000 a month. So $1,500 a fortnight with the JobKeeper program. And that's not happening in America. That's why you see these protests. You see these protests all over the world. And that leaves the question, where does this leave the Victorian people post-coronavirus? Chances are this is all going to blow over soon. I fucking hope so. I'd love to get back doing shows. But where will that leave people in the future when protests need to happen? The last book that I read, George Orwell's 1984, has this, which tells a story of that's the word I wanted to use. It's a fiction story of a dystopian past where the totalitarian regime relying on fear, lies, and mass surveillance to control the population. You may break laws. You may even break it's not quite what's happening in Victoria at the moment. I don't know why I'm trying to read off this piece of paper. It's fucking with my vibe. You might break many laws in 1984, but if you break any laws, you will be vaporized. Now, this is not happening in Victoria. You're not getting vaporized. No one's getting vaporized. Chill out. But what does this lead to? I guess that is the question. I don't think Victoria's running down this communist regime. I don't think that's happening at all. But it's not great. This young lady who has been arrested is absolutely... I'm not reading off this anymore. I wrote notes. Fuck it. What happened with this lady is ridiculous. She broke the law. Absolutely. But there has to be a freedom to protest. It can't be okay for one group and not okay for another. That is ridiculous. And the fact of the matter remains that this young lady, she thought she was doing the right thing. And, when people get stuck in these echo chambers, and there's echo chambers on Facebook, rather, where everyone's saying, oh, vaccine this and anti-vax that and don't wear masks and all that shit, people get these ideas in their head. And I think they still need to be able to protest, but perhaps she needed to do it in a different way. But there is no way in the world the Victorian police needed to walk into her house and fucking arrest her. That is absolutely insane. Don't do that. That is bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. But if you would like to subscribe, you should. If you'd like to hang around. After this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do something very exciting, so stick around. But if you're not a part of the live stream and you watch this after it was posted, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East, me dick stinks. And I'll see you all very soon. Toodaloo, au revoir, bye. Now that everyone's gone...